Hello and welcome everyone. In today's session, actually after receiving a lot of requests from the viewers that they want to learn how exactly they can create a sliding pop-up just like the one they have used or most of us have used in Facebook, like social network site. There we have a chat window which simply get embedded in your web page, and it gives you a feel that it's like a kind of embedded component on your web page, and exactly the same kind of look and feel we are trying to achieve over here. And through this tutorial I will let you know or understand the concept, the idea behind this technologies which are going to be applied here: HTML, CSS and jQuery. These are the three major components which will be combined together to give you the required result. And let me first show you what exactly we are going to build or develop before jumping in with the tutorial steps. Okay, so let's see here what exactly we are going to do at the final result. This is the running example. We are going to have a web page with this. You can see here at the bottom right, this follow us. When you click on it, you can see a pop-up comes over here. Very similar kind of look and feel I try to give over here. Not only on Facebook, on various blogs also you have this kind of follow buttons. Like on the one blog, my blog itself, you can see sometime pop-up comes over here. Let me show you. Like here, look, when this page gets loaded, actually it's kind of here, follow this button. When you click on it, it says something like for Sarke plan. It's very similar to the one we have a chat window in our Facebook web application also. It's the similar kind of window we are going to achieve over here. You can see when you click on this, it just collapses, and when you click on it, it get expanded. And to develop a window, a chat pop-up or kind of thing over here, we just all we need is three things. One is the HTML for the content part that need to be represented, and the CSS to apply the effect, and lastly the jQuery library. Let me list it out over here. For creating this sliding pop-up like Facebook, step 1 is creating the HTML content for the pop-up window. We'll write some HTML tags, mainly the div tag most importantly will be used over here, and inside it will have a form or kind of thing like the one I just showed to you. Then we will use the CSS to apply effects, the kind of look and feel. As you can see once more over here, this look and feel, this arrangement that this pop-up should come at the bottom right over here, and thing we are going to make use of CSS. And finally this effect, which you can see over here, when I click it simply collapses, and when I click on it once again it expands. So for this animation kind of effect we are going to make use of our jQuery. jQuery library is nothing but a cross-browser JavaScript library that is designed and developed by MIT developers, Massachusetts Institute of Technology. And the main purpose of this jQuery, which it has become very popular in the recent arena of web technology, is that it simplifies the client-side scripting of HTML. And nowadays it is being almost over 52% of the most website like Facebook and social network websites like Flickr and kind of websites are mostly using the jQueries to apply such kind of effects. And to tell you about this jQuery, it has got capability to navigate the documents, select DOM elements, handle the events, creating animation, and developing AJAX based application are really simplified using this jQuery library. It's a very small library, as you can see over here. This is your library that is almost 90 KB over here, the minimum version, and the maximum version expand from 300 to 400 KB only. It can be downloaded directly from the website of jQuery, that is jQuery.com, and it is distributed under MIT and open license, and it can be used by anyone, any organization in developing or creating such kind of construct like the one we are going to learn today. And this library is, you can see over here, has got lot of JavaScript kind of thing, and lot of functionalities are inbuilt over there, so that the task of writing such large script and like struggling with the debugging part of the script is very difficult. And it simply eases us the task by providing inbuilt functions. Like for animation, you want to have over here, you can see a kind of animating effects like this. it slides down, slides up, even it can hide when you point the mouse, and kind of thing can happen. All these are provided as inbuilt function. All the JavaScripts are written inside this jQuery library, which you can see here in this library. When you open it, you will find a lot of scripts kind of things over here, which is of no use to be discussed. Only we are going to make use of this library will be included in our project, in our application, and making use of one of the functions available over here, animate function, namely we can achieve this task. So what exactly are the requirements listed over here? You require an HTML editor. It's not mandatory to have a HTML editor only. You can have any text editor actually, or let me write it this, text editor, any text editor of your choice. Like in case of Linux OS you are using, then gedit you can go for, vi editor you can go for, and in case of Windows, all of us are familiar with WordPad and Notepad kind of text editor. But I will prefer over here one of the HTML editor, as we are dealing with a markup language, and sometime it, due to just typos, it creates a lot of issues and very hard to trace out, just like you are going to waste a lot of time constructing it in the proper order. So we are going to use some editor. We can use editor which are most popular like Eclipse, or we can go for Microsoft Visual Studio as well. But here I am going to use one of the editor, that is Popup free HTML editor. It comes for free of cost, and it can be used by anyone for demonstration, for running their own application, or in the development scenarios also. It's pretty much very easy to use and reliable as well. It's approx 30 MB in size, and it can be downloaded. At the end of the tutorial I will provide all the links and locations from where you can get this specific requirement, libraries, and this kind of editors. And second thing is the jQuery library, which can be downloaded from the jQuery.com. Here you can come to jQuery.com. This website has lot of libraries, descriptions also, kind of documentation you can read over here also, and you can see the latest version can be downloaded, and current release is version 1.7, which we are gonna use. As let me show you the process. When you click on it, it asks you to simply download this jQuery 1.7.1 min.js, which I have already downloaded for you over here. So I'm not gonna re-download it again. You can download it from here, or on the blog itself it will be available under the link to required libraries. Okay, so now let's jump into the code part and see what exactly we have to do in order to achieve this kind of sliding pop-up window. Once more, you can see over here, every time during this tutorial I will be switching over here, and I will showing you what are the steps we are following in order to achieve the HTML content, the CSS style, and all this. Lastly, the jQuery. It's very simple and easy to develop this kind of windows. So let me start with this Popup free HTML editor. As I said, you can use any editor, but the reason I am choosing it, or I'm gonna use it, is just for making the process very simple and pretty straightforward. Here you can see it's a free version of the HTML editor, Popup, and is available on their website. You can download it from there, or at the end I will provide you the URL. So this editor is very similar to any IDE that you have used for Java or .NET development. And let me start here with creating a new project over here. So I come over here, and let's say if I want to create first a new project. In that project I'm gonna add some resources, some HTML content, and not much resources, only one library is the most important thing that we require over here. So here are the couple of ways to create the project. Here you can see this icon, website project. Click on it and hit new website project. You are free to name it anything you like I'm gonna give it a name, test fbk kind popup. Okay, the location for the resources and files need to be specified. Let's say I'm gonna create a folder here in C drive. Create a new folder, and let me call it popup test. Fine, hit OK, and you can click OK to create the project. The project is created over here. Now in this project, all you need to do is to add some HTML page. To add an HTML page over here, you have to select this project. You have to come over to the file and new HTML page. This is the template, or you can say a kind of generated dummy code for the basic HTML structure. Here let me remove this kind of stuffs to make it simple to understand. As you can see, we have the HTML tag over here. Then we have two parts in it, head tag and the body tag. And let me just increase the font to make it clear. Preferences, customization, modify highlighting, and font, let me choose here 22, so that it will be clear what I'm gonna type over here. So you can see we have HTML tag, head and body tag. Let's say we want to test whether it's created or not. So I just create a dummy text over here to make sure everything is running properly. I say over here pop-up test. Fine. I save the changes over here. During saving, it will ask you to name it something, the file you have created. Let's say call it index. Now in order to test it in a browser, you have the option over here, preview. Don't go for this quick live preview if you are using this editor. If you are using any other editor like Notepad itself you are writing, no need to discuss about these things. But for those who are going to follow this tutorial with this coffee cup free HTML editor, for them I am recommending it. So if you click on this quick live preview, actually this file that you are creating will be hosted on coffee cup free HTML editor's website, and then it will be after getting hosted over there, it will be viewed in the browser. Rather than hosting it, we are just going to test it locally, so we come to local preview, and here is the test with the default browser. If you have additional browsers, and we are going to test it on all the browser, cause when you are going to work on CSS and JavaScript kind of thing, lot of tags are not supported by all major browsers. So in that case we have to test it on more and more browsers as much as they are popular. So we will do it at last. For now, just test it with the default browser whether this page is working. Okay, fine. It says that pop-up test and it's working fine. And here is our application that I'm talking about. We need to create something like this. Okay, so I'm going to remove this text, and as mentioned here, we can say that first step is to create the HTML content for the pop-up window. The content would be something like this here, the follow SRK Planet kind of. You are free to use any content you want in your website. Like when a visitor of your application or your website comes over here, you can have a link over here or a kind of button over here that will attract them to click on it, so that you can provide necessary information to them. And it is very handy in development to have an idea about such kind of stuff, how to create it. And let's proceed on here. So creating the HTML content is the first part. So I start with here the body tag. Here I'm gonna have a couple of div specifying the ID that soon I'm going to be creating over here. Don't worry about this. So what you see here, I have a div tag whose ID is specified as a container. Why I specified this ID? Cause later on in the second part, when I'm going to create the CSS, that CSS is going to apply some design, the effect. You can see over here design part is that it is having some border over here, it is placed at the bottom right corner. These all positioning and things will be done using CSS. And CSS2, and if CSS want to access this HTML elements like a div tag to apply the effect, it needs to know either the ID or the name of the container. The best approach is to use the ID. That's why I provided an ID over here, container. Second thing, another div I require over here, let's call it button, and then I have another div that is called content. Okay, so why I have this button and content, as you can see over here, this screen, this pop-up is divided into two areas. One is this header ribbon, or I call it over here button. When you click on it, it toggles you between the visibility and hidden mode of this particular pop-up. So this is the button area I'm going to design, and I'm going to insert this image over here, and this is the content area. So you can see this whole content of the pop-up is divided into two parts, the button and the content. Here it is. The container contains two parts, button and content. This container button and content ID for the CSS that will retrieve this element and will apply the effect as required. Inside the content, what I have exactly, you can see some text and some forms or kind of thing. So here one more additional div I will add, and let's name it something like text. Okay, we can name it anything. So all these I need to simply set up the required presentation layer of this pop-up. So I have created it, and this contents you can fill anything, but for this demonstration I will be using the same content, the same text that I have that I'm showing over here since starting. Okay, so let's start here. Quickly I'm gonna build those contents over here that requires no explanation. I guess you can understand what I'm writing over here. H2 tag, alignment, follow SRK Planet. You can put any content you want over here just to give it that same look and feel. I'm writing all this stuff. Get every new post, what was it? Get every new post delivered to your inbox. Get every new post delivered to your inbox. H4 I used here. Then let's say we are gonna have another div over here, as the content under here is going to be a form. So first part, this portion I have created, follow SRK planet and get new post delivered. This was header that I applied over a h2 tag, and here this content get every new post is under the h4 tag. Now I create a new div, and inside this div I'm gonna have this form with one button. You can see over here I have applied some JavaScript over here. When you click on it, this text goes disappear, and when on blur event is fired, this comes over here. And if you are gonna enter your email ID over here, let me show you this too. So when you click on sign me up, you're now following the SRK planet kind of alert comes over here, JavaScript alert. So all these are not required, actually this is not part of discussion, but still to just make it fancy and actually giving it a purpose, why exactly this box is over here, I'm just writing this stuff over here. The actual part comes into scene with the discussion of CSS mostly and the jQuery a little bit. So let's see over here what we have here. So we have created so far this content, and now inside it I'm gonna have some form action equals to hash, and inside this form I'm gonna have an input type equals to text, size equals to, let's say 25 will fit the text I guess, value equals to enter your email address. And here I can end it, like this can be done with this content text box over here. But one more thing that I just showed you here, that in this text box when you click, the text disappears, and when you leave this text box, this comes back. For this I am using two JavaScript event handlers, one is on click, another is on blur. How exactly? In the same input tag I'm gonna use this on click. I say when you click it, the text should disappear. What exactly should happen is that this dot value, this refers to the current control, the component text, and I say value becomes blank. Fine. And another event that is on blur, when you are going to leave the text box, when the focus from the text box is going to be loosened, this blur event occurs. Means you are losing the focus, it's getting blurred. Okay, on blur I say that the same text reappears over there, and that is going to be this dot value equals to, like the same text, enter your email address. Okay, all this we need to set up this text box, this component where you can enter the text, and then a br tag to line break so that the button comes in the next line. Next I have an input tag with type equals to button, and again on click I want to show a simple message box over there. So what I write over here, alert, and what I want to show over there, like I want to write like thank you for registering with SRK planet. Okay, so I simply close this content over here. In the on click event you can see I have a message box, alert box that will be prompted when the user clicks on this button. And of course one more thing, like the value that you want on the button to appear, you need to specify value equals to, like say sign me up. Fine. So this is our button, input type equals to button, on click you want to show the that particular message box, and then we have the value that appears on the button, that is sign me up. It's pretty much similar like this. The content have been developed so far. Now this is a horizontal ruling, and this one is going to be kind of link I want to provide. So for that, let me say I line break over here, and after giving a line break over here, or I guess I should close the form as well over here by closing it. This br doesn't require over here, button, then button, after that we close it, and let's provide or let's close this div tag that we have opened over there. This div tag contains this form. See here we have this particular heading, follow SRK planet, then we have the heading second, get every post, then a div is created. Inside this div what I'm having is a form. This form is simply having a button and a text box to let the user simply enter the email ID, and clicking on button displays a message. After the form, that horizontal ruling kind of thing I want to give over here, so I use the HR tag, and then again I'm going to create another paragraph over here. I say center it, the contents in the paragraph, and here I write or create a link, a like say first align the content, or just href you can provide http// like I call srkplanet.wordpress.com, and here in between the anchor tag you can provide the text like I say over here, powered by srkplanet.com. fine. And one more thing here with the anchor tag, every time you create a link, normally it is going to have blue color with underlining over there. To remove that underlining effect, we are gonna apply a little bit of style over here, which is nothing but text decoration property should be set to none. When we say text decoration is going to be none for any link that doesn't going to have any kind of underlining effect like this. So we have created the complete HTML content required so far, and we have the proper closing for all the element, I guess. And at this point, if you're going to view this content of HTML, it's going to be like a box containing some text at some region in your web page. Like, let me show you, it's not going to be of any sense that we have discussed over. Like, look over here, follow srkplanet, get every new post, and things we have developed over here. The JavaScript part is working, sign me up is working, and this is the link I provided. But we have to give this look and feel. This particular content should be wrapped in a particular area and should come over here. For this part, we are going to use CSS. What exactly CSS stuff is? Cascading styles.